Okay, I have found a new way to take something that I've already dumbed down and dumb it down even further. um, oh, I wished I could tell you a couple of the comments that I recently got from some so-called professionals, and they were just stating stuff that was like, "What are you? What are you talking about?" Oh my God, I gotta grab for bubble wrap. Um, okay, three serious errors that still exist, and they're really promulgated everywhere. Um, but okay, now I've talked about photosite size and the pixel pitch. Like the Nikon D7100, for example, if it were scaled up at the same pixel pitch, it would be a 56 megapixel sensor. Okay, that's understood. Superior signal to noise ratio doesn't matter anymore relative to high pixel pitch. Radio astronomy, for example, figured this out 25 years ago. This is a really, really good analogy. Okay, they don't build huge radio dishes anymore. They build lots of little small ones, and they're grouped together in an array. So you can have like a Y array, and that entire array of little tiny dishes will act like one gigantic dish using the right firmware. You process out the noise. It's still the case that the larger photosites have better gain in low light. So that is why the Nikon D5 was just announced with a 20.7 megapixel sensor. And of course it's going to be probably $7,000, but it has a native ISO of what is it, up to 200 and what is it, 100 and I can't remember, it's 150,000. It's somewhere way the hell up there. But most of that is due to firmware, but it also has large photosites. I don't know the exact pixel pitch on it, but that doesn't matter. Now, what people don't understand, because I keep getting comments on it even after the recent videos that I made, is that crop does not equal image magnification. Okay, only angle of interception. Okay, when you a lens, doesn't matter what lens it is, okay, it does not magnify anything when used on a crop sensor. No lens on earth made by anybody magnifies on a crop sensor. It is only angle of interception, okay? Full frame, crop sensor, full frame, crop. What's the difference? It's cropped. It's only angle of interception. Full frame, crop. Full frame, crop. You get it? No? A lot of people still apparently don't get it. There's no magnification going on. You know what a magnifying glass is? That lens, any lens, every lens, doesn't magnify because there's a crop sensor underneath it. It does not. There is no magnification involved. Every lens craps out the exact same profile of light. It's actually a circle. Obviously, you know, lenses aren't shooting out light like this. You know, it's a big circle. Depends on how big it is, whether it's a DX lens or an FX lens. But they all crap out the same amount of light. So, pixel pitch, more info per square millimeter. Okay, more information per square millimeter. Let's take a look at some bubble wrap here. Do you see the difference in here? Now, pixel pitch doesn't mean that, well, only really small photosites exist on DX sensors and larger ones exist on full frame sensors. That's pretty much the truth, but it doesn't mean you can't stick these huge photosites on a DX and these little bitty ones on a full frame, okay? The thing over here is this would be really bad. You stick large photosites and a large pixel pitch on a DX sensor, then that is going to be a camera that's going to make results that nobody wants to buy. However, over here, small photosites, tiny little pixel pitch, like the pixel pitch that's present on the D7100 and some other cameras, like currently exists. Like the new Nikon 5D, which is a 50.1 megapixel camera. Technically, it's a 56 megapixel or 58 something megapixel sensor, but it's only sampled at 50.1 megapixels. The reason for that being is the amount of information that has to be processed in X amount of time. They could process, the Canon 5D could technically be like a 58 megapixel sensor, but it would be so slow in the gigantic files that it has to chew up and process and spit onto the card that it would be a camera that would be laughed at, ha ha, for being too slow. So Everything now is going to this. Okay, what was over here on DX and over here on FX, because of SNR firmware, and noise has a few different frequencies. Okay, that's programmed into every camera. It recognizes the frequency of noise and eliminates it. So when you're shooting, now here's the other thing. As I said before, the same sensor in the Nikon D610 is the same sensor in the Nikon D750. People are like, well, that can't be. They both kind of produce the same looking results. Well, yeah, they're both the same sensor. But the D750 is so much better of a high performer in low light than the D610. Yeah, you know. It's because it has nothing to do with the sensor. It has to do with the SNR firmware. What is happening now, full frame here, DX over here, with a smaller pixel pitch, since the advantage of large photo sight in about 99% of shooting, you know, unless you're someone that shoots in low light and photojournalistic work, which is why the Nikon D5 is only going to have a 20.7, excuse me, megapixel sensor. There's still a huge need for large photo sight, full frame. Not a huge need, excuse me, there's actually a small need. But, you know, it's only going to be on the Nikon D5. Nikon D5 is made for sports, action, and photojournalistic work. Now, it's also perfectly fine for portrait. The D4 and D5 essentially the same camera. D5's obviously got much better specs, faster, blah, 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 blah. But D4S and D5 are basically the same camera. You still use it for portraiture and the hell for everything else. 12 megapixels is perfectly fine for doing portraiture, printed out on 20 by 30. Nikon D5 is going to still have large photo sights, and it's not going to be a high megapixel camera because it is not geared towards DX pixel density. It's not going to be a high megapixel because this is more important in a photojournalistic camera where you're shooting in the ass crack of night, shooting news, sports, action, where you got to crank the shutter speed way the hell up there. And you got to have amazing ISO performance and amazing gain. What's most important in the D5? Not absolute resolution per square millimeter, but absolute incredible speed, high shutter speeds, great for PJ work, photojournalistic work, and awesome for sports and action. Okay, so, but everything now, okay, full frame sensor, DX sensor, everything now is going to be this. Okay, this is going bye-bye. Radio astronomy figured this out 25 years ago. SNR firmware. So now, just like the Canon 5D, it's all going to be full frame sensors with DX pixel densities. It's going to be a full frame sensor with DX pixel pitch. Okay? This is why they no longer make huge radio astronomy dishes, rather small arrays. So you're right, but not really in what you're thinking, because this is why large photo sites and sensors are history for all future full-frame cameras, except for high-priority, low-light photojournalistic cameras like the Nikon D5 and the D4S. But that's one proprietary, expensive professional camera, which has a very niche use. However, you can use it for anything, obviously. You can do whatever the hell you want with a D5 or the D4S. You shoot portraiture, shoot what the hell ever you want. Obviously, it's not a great camera for distance work, because the pixel pitch isn't that great. I mean, it's not something a wildlife or bird photographer would want to use. So, I hope you understand that. Okay, crop does not mean image magnification, only angle of interception. Superior signal-to-noise ratio doesn't matter anymore. It does, but almost not at all. It does matter, but not that much. You know, if you are shooting the ass crack of night and you need a high ISO performer, high low light performer, Canon will make a camera like that, Nikon makes one like that, which is D750. Okay? It's designed specifically to be a high light performer. But the serious advantage that existed 8 years ago over larger photo sites has been, it's been negated. It just has. That's like the biggest, couple of the biggest misnomers that exist. Like, well, you stick a DX lens on a camera, then you're going to get magnification. There ain't no magnification going on. It's crop, full frame, crop, full frame, crop. There ain't no difference here other than what is intercepted. It's like sticking up a 10-foot barrier gate versus a 5-foot barrier gate. You know, it's not like you're keeping out more people with a 10-foot barrier gate, which you are. I mean, the only thing, the angle of interception is the same amount that's coming in, exact same angle of interception of whatever's passing through. The only difference is the angle of interception of what is actually intercepted in the totality of the image. Also, of course, a huge misnomer that a full frame is gathering more light. A full frame sensor per square millimeter is not gathering any more light. That's a huge misnomer. Well, it's a larger sensor, that means it gathers more light. No, it doesn't. We're not talking about a magnifying glass, okay? We're only interested in the countless billions of points of light that are hitting every little tiny spot. The totality of the light does not matter for anything. So saying that a full-frame sensor gathers more light is both accurate but absolutely 100% meaningless and irrelevant in photography. We don't give a damn about the totality of light, but each little endless millions of little spots of light. Analogously, full-frame pixel pitch, DX pixel pitch. Full-frame pixel pitch, larger photo site, DX. More information per square millimeter. Hyaw and hyaw. Hyaw and hyaw. Yeah, I know that's my little tool. You know, I couldn't think of anything better to actually demonstrate it. I mean, obviously these are not larger this way than they are this way, but it shows you how the information is gathered as far as how much informational data is captured given a good exposure, of course, all things being equal, how much informational data is captured per square millimeter, full frame, larger photo site versus DX, smaller photo sites. This is why wildlife and bird photographers use DX cameras. There's no magnification. People are like, well, that's because of magnification. There's no magnification going on. None. None at all. There's no magnification. None. Angle of interception. Crop factor. Crop is not magnification. It isn't. Phew. My God. It's like cutting, like the thickest substance to cut through is ignorance. And it takes a special knife. And that knife is wisdom.